Okay. It's my game. Says Anonymous American. That's because I truly. Welcome back, everybody. Looks like D Live is up and running now, and YouTube as well. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. As I said, I've been working on the computer, and apparently I still got more work to do. Thank you very much for sticking with us. I had to set up a brand new stream in order to do this, but we got her done. All right. Raffensperger is talking some crap. He said in a release he would seek the removal of an entire county board of elections by invoking a provision in Georgia's new election law if Woodard is in charge. Wow. Pitts, who has often traded barbs with the Secretary of State, said Woodard is a longtime public servant who is well qualified for the role. He accused Raffensperger of playing political games. Doesn't every side? I wish we had a Secretary of State who cared as much about Fulton County voters as he did about winning his upcoming primary, but unfortunately we do not, Pitt said. Thankfully, here in Fulton County, we now have Miss Woolward to fill the void, and his leadership has failed. Fulton County, which is home to about 11% of the state electorate, is a Democrat stronghold that includes most of the city of Atlanta. It has a long history of election problems, has been a constant target for Republicans. After the county's primary election last year was marred by problems, an independent monitor was appointed as part of a consent order reached with the state election board. That monitor observed Fulton County's election processes from October through January and wrote what he witnessed: sloppy processing and systematic disorganization. Former President Trump zeroed in on Fulton after narrowly losing Georgia in the November general election, claiming all sorts of wild accusations. The state's election board last month appointed a three-person review panel to investigate Fulton County's handling of the elections after receiving requests from Republican lawmakers who represent the county. Lawmakers use a controversial provision of the state's sweeping new election law that provides a path for a state takeover of elections in a county. Woodlard thanked Pitts and other commissioners for their support after they chose her for the job. And she says, it looks like, my experience as a candidate and as presiding officer of Atlanta City Council gives me perspective and context for challenges we face as voters and public servants conducting safe and fair elections. I look forward to getting started. We still live? We're still live. What's up, Broken Patriot? Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this content. I appreciate it. Looks like it's just Anonymous and Broken Patriot. Maybe Riddle. I don't know. It only shows 2 for me. But that's cool. Yeah, I am back. Now you can quote Trump. I'm careful with what I say about what he says. Now this is one of the top stories. Actually, the top story right here, the trending now, was the black NRA instructor trains Detroit's women to ensure they will never be victims. It's just a black guy in Detroit training the population. But the NRA is like, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. NRA is so unrelevant. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has warned Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen that he is not budging on his demand that Democrats go it alone on the federal debt limit, deepening the emerging standoff in Congress over how to boost the government's borrowing authority. Doug Andrews, a spokesman for McConnell, said Kentucky Republican reiterated in a phone call Wednesday evening with Yellen that Republicans will not partner with Democrats to lift the cap on the federal debt, which now stands at $28.4 trillion. I've said this before, and I'll say it again just in case somebody didn't hear it last time I said it. When Obama was in office, and I believe it was probably 2014, maybe 2015, we were at 16 trillion in debt. And I remember thinking the old song 16 tons. It's about a mining company and working for the company and then they don't give you money for your work. They give you store credit, and you have to go to their store because their store credit's only good at their store, and they have everything you need, but it's all overpriced. and they won't pay you in cash. They only pay you in the store credit. So you owe your soul to the company store, right? I thought, wow, 16 trillion and deeper in debt. I could make a new song right there. And now we are almost double that. The leader repeated to Secretary Yellen what he has says publicly since July. This is a unified Democratic government engaging in partisan reckless tax and spending spree. And Endry said they will have to raise the debt ceiling on their own, and they have the tools to do it. Democrats do have power in both houses. Not real amazing. Not real advocates. Not real advocates. That's a better one, I think. My opinion. Lawmakers appear to only have a few weeks to reach a compromise over the federal government debt limit before the U.S. Treasury is forced to delay or miss payments. You know, the whole shutting down of the government that doesn't really shut down the government. State Republicans are insisting that Democrats pass legislation without their help that would include an increase or suspension of the debt limit. But Democrats note that on 3 occasions during President Trump's presidency, they worked with a Republican controlled Senate and a White House to suspend the borrowing limit. Yeah, but you're also putting in amnesty for like 8 million illegals. They are insisting that Republicans reciprocate and share in what can be a politically unpopular vote that allows the government not only to promptly pay its bills, also to take more debt. Senators from both parties overwhelmingly voted in support of many laws that contributed to this obligation, said Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. So neither party can wash its hands of responsibility to pay the bills. Debt limit caps the amount of money Treasury can borrow to keep the government running. When it was suspended for 2 years in July 2019, the public debt subject to the limit stood at 22 trillion, now stands at 28.4. Associated Press analysis of the data from the U.S. Treasury shows that nearly 98% of the nation's 28.4 trillion debt predates Biden's inauguration in January. True. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to double it in his 4 years or 8 years. God help us all. I doubt he'd make it that long. That includes about 7.8 trillion heaped into the pile during Trump's 4-year presidency. Yep, thank you very much, Trump, for spending more money. You're a businessman. That was the one thing you were supposed to be good at. Yellen has been using extraordinary measures to conserve cash, but once those measures and cash on hand are fully exhausted, the U.S. will have to rely on incoming receipts to pay its obligations, forcing the Treasury to delay or miss payments. Yellen has projected the moment will come sometime in October. Secretary Yellen will continue to talk to Republicans and Democrats about the crucial need to swiftly address the debt ceiling in a bipartisan manner to avoid catastrophic economy consequences of default. Treasury spokeswoman Lily Adams said in a statement on Thursday, votes to increase or suspend the debt ceiling are often contagious. Something like that. Remember, without the NRA, we'd have no background check. I know, right? That'd be nice. I wasn't around. Well, I wasn't buying guns before there was background check. Votes to increase or suspend the debt ceiling. Oh, I heard that. Congress has passed 17 distinct changes to the debt limit since 2001, according to the Nonpartisan Congressional Research Service. Only 17 times. Wow, I thought it was more than that. I didn't really organize these stories, so I do apologize, but I was running a little bit late today. Yeah. I know a lot of you already know this story, but in case you didn't, they have added trigger warnings on U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence because they're disturbing to young people. They have naughty language in them, I guess. The National Archives and Records Administration will place a trigger warning called a harmful language alert on every document in the online archives catalog, according to a press release. Americans will find the warning on the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. The catalog and web pages contain some content that may be harmful or difficult to view, said a statement from the NARA. Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma criticized the archivist of the United States, David Fierro, for letting far left political ideas into the National Archives, a government agency that should remain nonpartisan. Langford sent Fierro a letter on Thursday calling the politically charged warnings disturbing and said that NARA, or the NARA, has gone leaps and bounds beyond its proper role. As a nation, we should take pride in our founding documents, not stipulate them as if we are ashamed of the very freedoms that provide individuals in our nation with the ability to discuss and discern for themselves how to engage with and respond to their government, its laws, and its history, he said. Langford said that America compensates for the stains on its history by being the most free and diverse society on earth. Bureau made the decision after the Archivist Task Force on Racism found that structural racism permeates all aspects of work and workplace culture at NARA, including in the historical documents that the organization maintains. The NARA struggled to justify its mission to keep the documents at all. NARA's record spans the history of the United States, and it's are charged to preserve and make available these historical records, it said in the statement. Well, that sucks. As a result, some of the materials presented here may reflect outdated, biased, offensive, and possibly violent views and opinions, it continued. In addition, some of the materials may relate to violent or graphic events and are preserved for the historic significance. Wow, you gotta love it. Yeah, gotta love it. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think didn't it refer to natives as savages or something like that? I think it was something like that. Okay, so while we were out for lunch, they had a TV on, the sound was off, but I was watching this when it aired. I think it was, I don't know, like 1 o'clock our time. Do the math on that if you want. But this was something. Did y'all catch the mass amount of people at the border? Let's go ahead and watch this part.
Another self-created crisis gets worse for President Biden. Drone footage capturing thousands of migrants under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas. New Border Patrol numbers say there were more than 200,000 migrant encounters in August, including over 18,000 children. And new images show more kids abandoned at the border. Agents rescued a toddler and her infant brother who were left with a note saying they are siblings. How nice, Dan, they left a note. You know, if this happened under Trump, the media would call them Trump's children. Right? He'd call them Trump's babies or whatever.
They would definitely blame him. And actually, the silence from a lot of the media on this is really disturbing. How could it be that this is now Biden's fourth worst crisis?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have Afghanistan, COVID, inflation, and then 208,000 people in August alone coming across the border, abandoned children. The Border Patrol is completely overwhelmed. And maybe the national focus is not on this issue, but I'll tell you where it is. In the border counties of Texas that are going to face some really tough, anyone who's a Democrat there, Henry Cuellar has been trying to raise the alarm on this, trying to get the Biden administration to pay attention. He's a Democrat. He's probably thinking about that October 2022 midterm. And the other person would be Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona. Think about how small the margins are in the Senate. Mark Kelly has to run for re-election in Arizona. This is an issue for him.
Yeah, you know, Jesse, the woman to my right makes a good point.
Really, Mark Kelly has to run in 2022
privilege,
or 4?
right? Other states benefit from the cheap labor, but they don't have to deal with being overwhelmed at the border because that's not where they live.
Yeah, they're not coming to Manhattan or Washington or Georgetown or any of those
you only get
places.
4 years before you have to.
And if they are, it takes a little while, and then who knows what happens. The reason the media hasn't been covering this all summer is because Biden hid the kids. Remember when the kids were out there? Biden hid them. He just shipped them off to different locations all across the country. When there's kids, then it's a humanitarian crisis. Right. Then people feel bad for the kids. Of course we feel bad. It's not Joe's fault. But when it's just men coming across, it's a vast majority are men crossing, single adult males. They don't want to show that. Right? Because that's a national security crisis, an economic crisis, a real border crisis that lands on Joe's plate. And Joe's lost track of the kids. He lost track of half the kids. How do you do that? You get trafficked kids across, then you just let them go right under Joe's nose. He doesn't care about kids. Next time Joe says, I care about the children, it's a lie. He doesn't care about workers either.
Well, anytime Joe talks about anything, it's usually a lie. Okay, so I just wanted to show some of the pictures at least. I know the sheriff down there was talking on the news too. I wanted to see what he was saying, but as I said, they didn't have the sound on. Why didn't they build the wall by that bridge? There was a big fence. I saw at least one big fence. How about the people that own property down there? More than 100 landowners are working together with Texas to complete the construction of the state's southern border wall by allowing officials to put up temporary fencing on their land, according to the Washington Examiner. As Texas officially prepares to award its contract for the border wall project, 123 Texans, most whom live in Val Verde County, have agreed to allow builders to put up an 8-foot tall barbed wire fence at the edge of their properties. Governor Greg Abbott's office said many of these landowners actually reached out to the state first about the fencing because of illegal immigration on their property has been leading to rising rates of criminal incidences. Hope you're well armed. I'm sure they are. According to Abbott's spokeswoman, Renee Easy, the landowners are not being compensated or incentivized for giving the government access to their land. The incentive, she said, is securing their land at our southern border. Abbott announced earlier this summer that Texas would complete former President Trump's border wall project along its part of the southern border to combat the surging illegal immigration. The state legislature has pledged to spend about $750 million on the wall, but private citizens have also donated to the effort. As of August, private donations are more than $54 million, according to Abbott's fundraising website. We are grateful for the outpouring of support from across the state and the entire country as Texas fills the gap created by President Biden and steps up to secure our southern border. Cartels and smugglers are profiting off the chaos as they overwhelm and divert our nation's resources so they can smuggle drugs, weapons, criminals, and other contraband across our border. While the Biden administration may not prioritize the sovereignty of our nation, the safety of our people, Americans clearly do, said Isa. Or Easy? You need a trigger warning on the Constitution, you get the fuck out of my let's see. Time to napalm the border on the hour. Every 30 minutes to keep people on their toes. It's not a war crime if you're doing it within borders when not in a war. Yeah? Pretty sure that would get bad press. Bet they'd stop I bet they would too. 10-foot ladders? Yeah, pretty much. Landowners just started popping them off. They'd definitely avoid those areas. You know what? If I ever run for governor of Texas, first thing I'm going to do is put to a vote if we're going to secede from the Union. Second thing I'm going to do is give the landowners free reign. Free reign. If anybody's on your property, I'd have to be careful with that one. See, this is why it's a good thing I'm not in politics, because I didn't think about it. I'm starting to think about it now. Saying about this, we spend trillions. We're the most advanced nation. We have more freedom than all countries, but we can't stop workers. Okay, yeah, no, we can. And I think Trump was doing a pretty decent on that front. I think Trump was doing a decent job on it. I mean, you look at last year's numbers in August versus this year's numbers in August, and it's like 4 times the amount that was happening during the Trump administration. 4 times. I'm sorry, but we're full, man. This nation can only get so many people in it. Stop sirens from crossing entire Iraq. 100% with no wall, no defined border, and little help, but we can't do it with cameras, walls, guards. Yeah. Well, as I said, it was a lot better this time last year. Raleigh City's government ties job promotions to your status of shots, your sniffle shot status. So if you're in this town, apparently, and you have a nice job and you were up for a promotion, if you didn't get your shot, guess what? You're going to probably be overlooked. Let's find out. The Raleigh, North Carolina municipal government has tied promotion for city workers to their sniffle shot status and promised that unshotted workers, including police officers and firefighters, will never be promoted. What happens when the sniffles is gone? when we don't have it anymore, right? Let's say we get rid of the sniffles. It ain't going to happen. I'm telling you right now, we're going to be talking about this in 20 years. But if we get rid of the sniffles, do they still have to get their shot? North Carolina's capital has given city employees until the year's end to receive the shot or face permanent immobility in their jobs. The shot mandate will affect about 4,000 workers, but about 2/3 of Rally's employees have already been fully shotted. This is different than losing your job. Losing your job, you can find a different job, that you can make them fire you, right? And then you can sue them, or you can go for wrongful termination, or you can at least get unemployment. But this, they're just never going to give you a raise. They're never going to promote you. You can still come to work. You might have to do mandatory testing. Before threatening a promotion freeze for unshotted employees, Rally was offering shot incentives, but they expire on Friday, September 17th, which is tomorrow. City employees received $250 and 2 days off paid vacation for getting their sniffle shot. Nice. Rick Armstrong, spokesman for the Raleigh Police Protective Association, which belongs to Teamsters Local 391, said the promotion freeze affects more than a person's job title. Holding promotions over people's head is a pretty big deal because that's your salary, said Armstrong, whose organization represents most Raleigh's police officers. The city police department does not require a shot to be promoted, and they have made that requirement without implementing a policy. Does not require a shot to be promoted, and they have made that requirement without implementing a policy, Armstrong said. So I know there are what I believe to be valid grievances being filed on this particular requirement. The Raleigh Police Department did not decide independently to tie sniffle shots to promotions, but it must follow the city's government directives. Armstrong said there is resistance to the shots among police officers. Good. I've been shotted and I support people getting the shot, but I also do not agree at all with the mandate, he said. The city, I think, is going about ways to try to force our members and their employees to get the shots that a lot of them are just don't feel comfortable getting. Raleigh claims it will accept medical and religious accommodation requests from employees. Armstrong said the shot mandate connection to promotions does not make sense from a public health perspective because higher ranking employees often do more office work. When you get promoted, you're less likely to be in contact with the public. People that are on the streets are more likely to be the rank and file and the ones that are going to be in contact with the public. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's a lot of ways the city can go about this. This is not really the most effective way. Well, shoot, if I was a police officer and I knew I wasn't going to get a promotion because I'm not going to get that shot, I guess I'll have to come up with my extra salary somewhere else. If you know what I mean. Let's see. What's up, Zeus? How you doing? Not hard, but they don't want to do it, and they lied to y'all. A politician lying? Hell, you say. Back of the line, sheepdog. It is. Shoot one man crossing a border that ignores your commands. Word passes, you could die. Boom, 90%. Stop crossing. Now, see, I would need a good cabinet because I think that, you have to let loose the landowners. Like, you got to have some good protections on them. However, at the same time, you got to be careful because you don't want somebody who's there like, oh, I can get away with murder now, and then just straight up kill some guy that, came on their land that they thought they were welcomed, and he'd been, pissed off at him for a long time or whatever. I don't know. There'd have to be more to it. People only stop when they fear something they don't want to deal with the risk. Yep. You heard that there's a free country over a line, but illegally crossing it means you are at risk, and you and everyone getting a shot or detained and put in jail. Guess who stops illegally crossing? Yeah. Do you think this mandate could turn into a whole alternate economy similar to alcohol prohibition? Have a bunch of people underground. Well, they're already combating that too. We did a story yesterday, and Guns Coast to Coast had done it a few days earlier about how they're trying to implement, You know how right now, if you go to the bank account and you withdraw more than $10,000 or deposit more than $10,000, it ticks like, a check mark, and the FBI gets alerted and shit, and then they start questioning you and all that. They're trying to lower that down to $600 right now. And it doesn't look like I don't see any real opposition. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are going to oppose it, but that might pass. So if that happens, what I think they have to do is they have to get rid of cash. Right? They're wanting to take that down to $600 because they're trying to end your side hustle. Right? Because they want to tax more of your money. But if it goes to a digital currency, then they can track everything. And I still think that would go with, trying to reset our debt at some point. But I'm not a smart person. Guns Coast to Coast would probably have this one down if he was here. Forcing all inhabitants of this planet into an experimental medical program is bad for... Yeah, you think, yeah. But boy, they have a cult, don't they? Man, they go after you. And they just won't stop. I mean, they're trying to mandate it for your employer because they can't do it themselves. Pesky Constitution. Twitter seeks to transfer Trump's class action censorship lawsuit from Florida to California. I bet you do. I bet you do. Twitter filed a motion recently to transfer the jurisdiction of the major class action lawsuit from Southern Florida to Northern California, according to a case update from America First Policy Institute. The left-leaning social media publisher is one of the 3 companies named in the lawsuit, which Trump first announced in July. Facebook and Google are also included in it. As of late August, the suit has garnered more than 85,000 class action participants. All right, I guess they're taking applications. I'm going to have to check that out. The AFPI said it had anticipated a change in venue attempt by the big tech billionaires as they seek to derail the effort with nearly limitless resources. This move aligns with big tech's predictable response strategy that President Trump's legal team has been prepared for, said the update. The response will make a unique set of legal arguments as to why this case should remain in the Southern District of Florida, and the American First Policy Institute believes that they will be successful in this effort. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has pursued tougher laws in his state to crack down on alleged abuse of the Communication Decency Act. The quarter-century-old federal law, Section 230, provides for special protections that would encourage growth in the early days of the online boom, both exempting tech platforms that acted in good faith from the normal liabilities of media publishers. As the tech company has grown more powerful, however, they have used it as a loophole to avoid any sort of government regulation, despite the fact that they have now functioned essentially as public utilities similar to phone companies. Flouting First Amendment freedom of speech protections, they have maintained that they have the right as a private company to impose their own arbitrary and consistently shifting guidelines, which they have used as jurisdiction to silence conservatives and to promote misinformation about significant issues, such as, a big-time trigger word that I cannot say, but, the whole vote darfing and the sniffles. It's time to deny Twitter the unfair advantage of Silicon Valley judges who have the time and time again protected the Section 230 immunity granted to those social media behemoths, said AFPI. It also said that it had filed an amicus brief in the case of NetChoice LLC versus State of Florida, which is a district court judge recently used to declare DeSantis' big tech law unconstitutional. The case is currently pending review in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm going to have to check that one out. Time to put all your money from the bank, already ahead of the curve. Well, and here's an interesting thought, because Guns Coast to Coast was saying how we should all be withdrawing $101 and depositing $601 like multiple times a day to overwhelm the system. Right now, if you were to try to get a suppressor or any NFA item or even a background check, some people are having a big time waiting line right now. So you can only imagine, like, if everybody was doing that like 2 or 3 times a day, there ain't no way they could keep up with that. What's up, Gerald B? How you doing? Gerald B, by the way, I did go ahead and do the sous vide thing, and I think I successfully made hot flavored brownies. I think I didn't do it right. Just enough to pay the bills each month. Everything else comes out. My Aussie friend pulled her money and bought gold. Yeah, I like buying a little bit of gold and silver. I had to get rid of some of it, unfortunately, because we were down on our luck for a little bit. If I had any money, I'd spend it on lead, brass, primers, and powder. That's a good one, too. You got to diversify, though, man. What I like to do is I like to do percentages, right? So 10% goes to gold and silver. And then whatever else, we can divvy that up. We'd all be cashless soon, so you can't hoard money like that. Yeah, if we did go to a cashless society, well, it wouldn't be instant. And I don't like holding cash anyway, because when we were saving for moving and maybe possibly fixing our credit or getting a home, I was saving it in gold and silver. And the reason I decided to save it in gold and silver for a few reasons. One, it's harder for me to spend it. I have to go back over to my guy and I have to give it back to him for cash. And I don't want to do that because not only is it embarrassing, but also I might lose money on it. I ended up not losing money on it for the most part. So that's good. But there's one reason, right? It's harder to spend. And I'm really good at spending money I'm trying to save because I see something, I'm like, ooh, I want that. And if I have the cash in my pocket, I'm going to spend it. The other reason is if I saved it for a longer period of time, unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but for a longer period of time, unlike my cash, which is losing value every single second, guess what? Your money, your dollars, they never go up in value. Whether silver or gold go up or down, it don't matter. Your dollar always goes down. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to invest it in something real. If the economy crashes while I have it all, that'll be good. If I can use it for savings, I didn't spend it for a long time. It was only something drastic that made me have to go spend it. What's up, Guns Coast to Coast? I was just talking about you. You'll hold my cash? I'm good. I have plenty of large primers, just low on the small. Yeah. How long do you leave it cooking? 4 or 5 hours. But the guy said 3 hours, and I went a little bit longer, like an extra hour. Usually in sous vide, well, when it comes with food, it doesn't really matter if you go over, but I guess maybe this was different. I was raised Baptist, so I will pass the plate. Well, I was born Seventh-day Adventist, and we still had a plate to pass. All right. Yeah, we were talking about, what was it? Crap, I don't even remember the video that you did there. I was talking about. All right, Trump advisor slams brakes on the GOP support for Biden's Afghan refugee pipeline. As tens of thousands of Afghan refugees flee the Taliban arriving in the U.S., former Trump administration officials are warning about the long-term risk of backing President Biden's solution to a self-inflicted catastrophe. If 98% of them are wonderful people, that's still 2% that might have some ulterior motives. The former officials are writing position papers, appearing to be on conservative television outlets, and meeting privately with GOP lawmakers, all in an effort to prevent radical leftists from turning the collapse of Afghanistan into another opportunity to push their open borders agenda. It's a collaboration based on mutual conviction, said Stephen Miller, the architect of President Trump's most conservative immigration policies, and among those engaged on the issue. My emphasis has been in talking to members of Congress to build support for opposing the Biden administration's overall refugee plan. Okay, we're definitely not reading all this. Republicans pushing the issue hope the GOP voters hope to keep the GOP voters motivated heading into next year's midterms when control of Congress is at stake. Two of the biggest vulnerabilities currently plaguing the left are Biden's failures at the southern border and his disastrous retreat following America's longest war. From a political standpoint, culture issues are the most important issues. that are on the mind of American people, said Russ Vought, Trump's former budget chief and president of the Center for Renewing America. All right. Vought's group is working, he said, to kind of punch through this unanimity that has existed that. All right, yeah, I'm done with that. Just bring them on in, man. Yeah. Next time. I did want to try to do the sous vide. Because, like, you have to decarb it, right? I didn't know that until I got into this, but you have to decarb it. And they did that in the sous vide, too. So I don't know if I messed it up there or if I messed it up later. Could be. An update on the Durham rushes to indict dossier-linked lawyer before the statute expires. Special prosecutor John Durham appeared to be scrambling to secure an indictment against Perkins Coie, lawyer who helped spread the Russian collusion hoax to the U.S. Justice Department. A 5-year statute of limitations on the alleged crime is set to expire this weekend. Wow. Michael Sussman, now 5 years? A 5-year statute of limitation? Man, that's not very long. I do it 24 hours. Yeah, I know. I was doing it at almost boiling point. It was like 200 degrees. Michael Sussman, now a partner at the Democratic-connected law firm, allegedly lied to the FBI directors during a September 19, 2016 interrogation while raising allegations about then-Republican candidate Trump's ties to a bank run by Russia oligarchs. Sussman claimed not to have been working on behalf of a client. However, he was later found to be representing the Democratic National Committee. It's always lying to the FBI that gets you, isn't it? Okay. Another Perkins Coie attorney, Mark Elias, was the lead counsel for Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. Both men were involved in helping spread the now debunked Steele dossier. Elias commissioned the firm Fusion GPS to produce the reports. Yeah, we all know that. Sussman reportedly used a personal connection with then Justice Department General James Baker to deliver the material to the DOJ via thumb drive, according to a 2019 filing by Judicial Watch. Okay. So I guess they're going to go after him. It's not yet known whether Ellis may have been deposed by the FBI at the same time that Sussman was, and whether he made a false statement while under oath. Reports indicate that his new law firm is heavily underwritten by radical leftist dark money groups, suggesting that he continues to be a conduit for illicit campaign contributions. Sussman was a Green Party candidate for New York Attorney General in 2018, but ultimately lost to Democrat Letitia James. Yeah, I would love to talk to you again, Gerald, about some of that stuff, because, yeah, I'm not ready to do it right now, and since I wasted so much, I'm kind of nervous because it wasn't cheap. You know what I mean? Big spinning Dems try to act conservative on radical budget bill. I was going to do this one with the other budget bill. With the Biden administration's public approval underwater and outrage growing over failed leftist policies that have had severe consequences, including massive inflation, Democrats undertook the spectacle of pretending to negotiate over a radical budget bill that could be putting the nail in the coffin of U.S. fiscal solvency. Democrats remain hopeful of railroading President Biden's controversial Build Back Better Act through the legislative process, despite unanimous GOP opposition and growing unease with their own ranks. On Wednesday, 3 vulnerable Democrats in the House Energy and Commerce Committee dealt an ominous, albeit symbolic and superficial, blow to the huge social and environment package by derailing a plan to let Medicare negotiate the price it pays for prescription drugs. I think that would be okay. Wouldn't that be all right? I have no idea. I know prescription drugs are way too damn expensive. The vote to drop the proposal from Biden's $3.5 trillion spending plan was quickly negated by the separate House Ways and Means Committee, which kept it alive by approving nearly identical drug pricing language. Even so, the provision rejection by one committee underscores the anxiety from battleground Democrats as Biden and the party leaders try to unilaterally push the entire package through a narrowly divided Congress. The massive spending spree as it stands not only is likely to send already intense inflation skyrocketing into the double digits, but it also includes non-budgetary proposals such as amnesty for millions of illegal immigrants that the left hopes to slip through the procedural gimmick of reconciliation, allowing the evenly split Senate to bypass its normal 60-vote threshold. Yeah, that's bullshit. I have a problem with that, 100%. Not sure it got hot enough. It might not have. That's why I leave it in the crock pot simmering for 24. How hot do you think that would be? Curious. Red state Democrats already panicked over a 2022 midterm reckoning are in the delicate position of needing to appear on one hand to advocate for fiscal responsibility while ultimately walking the party line under the stewardship of radicals like Nancy Pelosi and Bernie Sanders. Focusing their negotiations on less consequential measures like prescription drug for Medicare may be a convenient canard for slipping in the more controversial measures that will drive up healthcare costs and reduce the quality of care regardless of what the government pays pharmaceutical companies. Without Republican support, Democrats would be able to lose just 3 House votes and none in the 50-50 Senate to send the overall measure to Biden. That's a precarious margin for what will be an enormous bill laced with numerous political sensitive initiatives and spending and taxes. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that either. That's a long one. Proposal lift with the corporate tax rate from 21 to 26.5. Wow. How much were we paying the British when we decided that was just too damn much? Was it 2%, 3%? I always forget. I think it was 2%, right? 2% tax on tea. We're like, fuck that. I ain't paying that. You're hungry? Yeah. I don't know. Did something wrong. It's all good. It's a learning process. Wow. I don't have anything else to talk about. I might have to watch a guns video. What was the one that... I'm going to go look real quick. That you put out a couple recently. Broken Patriot put out a new video. Toddler and a dodgeball. What could go wrong? He's adorable. The secret shot checkpoint they don't want you to know about. I do want to watch that. I'll probably watch that on my own time. Might want to put it outside. Do it in the crock pot. Yeah, see, that was the whole reason I wanted to do this vide, so that I wouldn't make any extra smells. All right, guys. You know what? I'm going to end this just a little bit early. Don't forget, we're doing the Revelation seminar tonight. So if you're into God and religion and stuff, check that out. It'll be the Patriot Bible Chat 1 hour and 10 minutes from now. So we'll be continuing our series. Tonight will be part 4. I hope to see y'all there. Check out all the descriptions below. We have links to all the places that you can find me. I don't have a link yet down there for Odyssey, but I do have an Odyssey account now, and it is uploading or already have uploaded. I'm not exactly sure, but it is uploading all my videos over to Odyssey, including the live streams, which I'm very excited about. That's amazing. Absolutely love it. I don't have to do anything. Once YouTube processes it, it goes over to Odyssey and it uploads it automatic. So go follow me over there. It's at Poison Stinger. I don't have any other way of, I don't have a link down below. But all the other places to follow me, including my Discord channel where we share news stories and other fun stuff. It is a closed group, so if you do go over there and you haven't chatted in my chat before, I won't know who you are, so you probably get the boot. But if you let me know who you are on the YouTubes, I'll let you in. Okay? We also have all the causes I believe in and support. We have the pH Association. That's a disease that I currently live with. I was supposed to change that link to something else. Riddle Girl told me. I remember now. But PH Association is looking for a cure for pulmonary hypertension, which is what I have. So I believe in that one. We have the GOA down there because that's the organization I belong to, and the only one that I belong to right now because I think my AZ CDL ran out. And then we have Rally Point Irish. That's my good friend Irish USMC vet. He has set up a GoFundMe and is trying to get some money raised to get some land in Tennessee where vets can stay room and board free while learning new skills like farming, blacksmithing, and gunsmithing. So it's a really good cause. I really like that one. So I donate 50% of all proceeds from this channel to that charity. So if you do donate to my channel, which there are ways to donate down below as well, just know that 50% of that donation would be going to Rally Point Irish. Now, if you want to go over there and just donate straight to him, I'm okay with that too. If you want to help this channel out without spending a dime, like, comment, subscribe, and the biggest one of all, sharing. You have a question? I'm listening, Guns. You're always here when it's the last time you saw the in evening. Just curious. What? You're always here when is the last time you saw just saw the evening? I have the window right here usually kind of cracked, so I get to look at the sunset from the window. Pretty soon, though, it'll be nighttime before I start the stream. And then when that is about to happen, then daylight savings time should happen. And at daylight savings time, I'm moving the chat my time to 7 o'clock. For y'all, it's not going to change at all because you change your clocks. Arizona, we don't change our clock. So I change my clock for you. You're all welcome. So we'll be moving it to 7 o'clock my time when daylight saving time hit. You've turned what? Watching Big Brother now? Oh my God. Yeah. So I used to do Big Brother. That's how I got all the subs on YouTube. Well, not all of them. I got 8,000. I got about 8,000 subs on YouTube from doing the Big Brother stuff. And I lost a lot when I switched over to doing firearms. I went down to like 6,000. So I guess about 6,000 were like gun related or freedom related subscribers. But, I've taken a couple years off here and there. I don't really do like gear reviews as much as I used to. And I just don't get out to the range as much as I'd like because it's a whole hassle. There is a range kind of close by, but I don't like going to public ranges. They're annoying and dangerous. I'd much rather go out into the desert, which I could do because we've had a lot of rain, so it's not really a risk of fire starting. But it's like an hour trip each way. So, and not to mention ammo prices, primer prices. So I haven't really been shooting much. I will be shooting when I go on this trip. I've been getting some ammunition ready for some good times. When is the last time you saw TV in the evening? I don't watch TV. I have a TV. I got a 65 inch, I think, something like that. I was using it as a computer monitor for a while. I'd bought it originally because we still watched TV and we still had cable at the time. And then we got rid of cable, switched over to Roku. And then there was so many different paid apps that we had. We're like, we're paying more than we paid when we had cable. So we then only got a couple for a while, and we worked on that, and then it was still too much money, so we went over to using an APK, which is what, Riddle?
It's basically an Android package application.
It's a way to get to watch free shows and free movies. It's not really great quality, but it's free. You know what I mean? So it wasn't bad. So no, I don't really watch. We stopped doing that because it was a hassle. You had to update it all the time. It was always hit or miss if you were going to be able to watch something or not. I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. I'll watch YouTube. I'll watch Twitch if I want to watch something entertaining. We do have Amazon Prime, so we're watching this new TV show. Actually, it's not new. It's been 3 seasons so far. And do I have that up? Let's see. I do. It's called Louder Milk. Anybody watch Louder Milk? We watched, what was it, 3 episodes last night, Riddle? And so far I like it. It's about a guy who is in a 12-step program helping other people. He's a counselor and also an addict. It's got the main guy from Office Space. If you've ever watched Office Space and the main actor in that, that is the main actor in Louder Milk. All one word. It's on Amazon Prime. Free to watch. Yeah, it's been pretty funny so far. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to set up the Patriot Bible chat. Hopefully I answered your question, Guns Coast to Coast. It was a little bit confusing. Oh, yeah, solid TV in the evening. Yeah. So there's different ways. There's different ways to buck the system. In order to get an APK, in order to use the APK, we got a Fire Stick, a 4K Fire Stick from Best Buy. I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks. And you have to then download apps. And then you have to make sure your VPN is on, and you have to do all this other stuff. But there's YouTube videos for it. So yeah, you can watch TV and movies for free. Okay. I will see you guys in about an hour. Until then, make sure to keep that family close. Watch out for that government, and try to live as free as you possibly can in the tyrannical world we live in. Messed up world, man. What's the bet and odds? What's going to happen first? Or is it all going to happen at the same time? You guys have any thoughts on this? Is it going to be economy collapse? Is it going to be terrorist attack? Is it going to be invasion? Is it going to be secession? Yeah. There's a whole bunch of things in the works right now. I'm just kind of curious. Y'all let me know what you think is going to be the fall of America. And for bonus points, call a time or a date, or at least a year. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit.